Hi, thanks so much for joining me for today's at-home beginners Pilates session. All of the moves we're going to be working through are beginner friendly. We're going to be focusing on the Pilates principles, core engagement, breathing, and proper form and alignment during each of the moves. So if you're new to Pilates or if you're recovering from injury, coming back to exercise after some time off, this is going to be great for you. It's a gentle introduction or reintroduction to some classic Pilates moves to tone and strengthen the entire body. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's start down on the mat. We're going to use our hands to help us slowly ease down onto the floor. When you touch down, make sure you're in the center of your mat. Head is resting on the floor. You want your chin gently tucked so you're staring up at the ceiling. Okay, and now from this position, we're going to place our hands on our hips. You want your legs hip distance apart here and your heels below your knees. Feet are parallel. We're going to work through some pelvic tilts. So from this position, our spine is in neutral. So you should have that little bit of space between your low back and the mat. We're going to move from a neutral spine by tilting the pelvis back and flattening the low back onto the mat. So there's no space between your low back and the mat. Now we're going to switch the movement by tilting the pelvis forward, exaggerating the arch in the spine so that there's a lot of space between your low back and the mat. Let's work through a few more of those. So tilt your pelvis back, pressing your low back into the mat. And now tilt it forward, arching the spine, exaggerating the amount of space between your low back and the mat. Backward, pressing the low back down, and forward. Backward and forward. Notice how your spine and your low back feel different in each position. And now we're going to add the breath. So we're going to inhale, and as we exhale, we're going to press our low back into the mat. Inhale, arch the spine. Exhale, flatten the back to the mat. Inhale and exhale. Now we want to add core engagement. So as we inhale, tilting the pelvis forward, our abdominals are generally relaxed. But as we tilt our pelvis back and exhale, we want to pull the belly button down toward the mat with the spine. So inhale, abdominals relax. Exhale, contract the core, tighten the abdominal wall. Inhale and exhale, press the low back into the mat, engage the core. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Inhale and exhale, engage the core. Inhale, arch the spine. Exhale, engage the core for 3, belly in, 2, and last one, pressing low back into the mat. Nice work. Now we're going to let the spine go back into neutral, that little bit of space between the low back and the mat, and we're going to press our palms down on either side of the body. From this position, we're going to go up into bridge. So we start bridge from that flat back position. So we're going to inhale, and as we exhale, we're going to flatten the back down toward the mat. Now we're going to pick the tailbone up off the mat, pick the low back off the mat, and work your way up your spine until you're in a nice elevated position. So some people really attempt to get their hips so far up there that they're arching the back. We want to keep a nice flat straight line between the breastbone, the hips, and the knees. So not overextending the spine. Deep inhale from this position. And as you exhale, you're going to reverse the movement, lowering one vertebra from the top of your spine, each one working your way down through the middle of your spine, imprinting each and individual vertebra down onto the mat one at a time. Good. Inhale here. Exhale, tilt the pelvis back, peel the tailbone, peel the low back, peel the mid back up into your bridge position. Engage your glutes here. Make sure that your heels are below your knees and that your legs stay parallel. Deep inhale. And exhale, reverse the movement, imprinting each individual vertebra from the top to the middle to your low back down to the mat. Good. Inhale, spine comes into neutral. Exhale, tilt the pelvis back, peel up one vertebra at a time, lift those hips. Nice work, deep inhale. And as you exhale, slowly lower down, one vertebra at a time, focusing on that spinal articulation. Inhale and exhale, lift. Good. Rippling up through the spine and then laying each individual vertebra back down on the mat from the top to the bottom on your way down. A few more like this, moving at your own pace. Good. As you lower down, breathe out, engage your belly to your spine. Nice work. Lift with control, squeeze the glutes gently, inhale, and exhale your way down, belly to spine. Nice work. Two more. And lower with control. Last one. We're going to come up and hold. From this position, make sure you're nice and stable. Those knees are in line with the hips. We're going to add some little pulses. So we're going to lower and lift. Lower the hips a couple inches and lift. Lower and lift. Firing up the glutes and the hamstrings here. Moving slowly and with control, being careful not to overextend the spine. We've got 4, 3, abs in, 2, and 1. Hold at the top of the movement. Bring your arms back by overhead by your ears. Stretch and lengthen through the spine as much as possible. Deep inhale here. And as you exhale, slowly roll down one vertebra at a time, stretching your spine as you go. Lowering your tailbone down. Last. Amazing work. Bring both knees in towards your chest and just give them a little hug. Rocking gently from side to side, massaging your low back on the mat. Amazing. From here, we're going to lower our feet down to the floor and we are going to start working our abdominals. So I'm going to interlace my fingers behind my head. Very important here that your head rests heavy in your hands throughout this entire range of movement. So we're never pulling our head up. Your head is like a bowling ball in a hammock here, your hands being the hammock. So your elbows are going to stay nice and wide. Your feet are still hip distance apart. We're going to inhale from this position, and as we exhale, we're going to peel head, neck, and shoulders up, pressing the low back down toward the mat, engaging the belly down toward the spine. Lower, inhale, and exhale, lift. Lower and lift. So as you lift up, keep those elbows nice and wide and really focus on pressing your belly down toward the mat, pressing your spine down toward the mat every time you lift. Lower and lift. So you're just peeling your head, neck, and shoulders up off the mat, holding for a split second as you engage your core, and then lowering with control. Good. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Good. Keep breathing. You can move a little bit more slowly if you need to focus on that core engagement. Good. Keep breathing. Lift. Challenge yourself by lifting a little bit higher each time. Remember, you shouldn't feel any strain in your head, neck, and shoulders though, so only lifting as high as you can with good form and control through those abdominals. Good. We've got 5 and 4. Last 3 and 2. Final 1. We're going to come up and hold belly in for 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Amazing work. Now we are going to bring the right knee in toward the chest. Take the right hand, place it around your shin. Left hand comes just under the knee. So we're really hugging the knee in toward the chest. You want your knee, hip, and ankle to be in alignment here. From this position, we're going to extend opposite leg out long so that the inside of the right foot and the inside of the left leg are touching. The left toe is pointed. Inhale here, and as we exhale, we're going to hug that knee a little bit closer in toward the chest and really contract the belly down toward the spine. Inhale to switch the legs. Exhale, contract the belly to the spine. Good. Alternating sides. Inhale, switch. Exhale, really focusing on contracting the core. Good. Keep breathing. Keep focusing on that core engagement. You should really be tightening and contracting the abdominal wall down every time knee comes in toward the chest. Make sure the opposite toe is pointing as you stretch the leg out long. You're engaging those thigh muscles as well. Now, if you're feeling really strong and secure here and you want a little bit more challenge, you can peel head, neck, and shoulders up into a crunch position so that your head is resting atop your shoulders. No strain in the neck. And if that gets to be too much, or you feel like you cannot pull your belly to your spine as you breathe out, simply lower it back down and focus on that abdominal control and stability. Good. We've got 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to pick up the pace for 10 at a quicker pace. So we're going 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold both knees in. Hug them in for a minute, deep inhale, and exhale, lower your feet down to the mat. Great. Now we're going to go into a crisscross variation to work the obliques. So hands, interlaced fingers come behind the head, head rests heavy in the hands. We're going to lift the heels up off the mat so that just the toes are pointed down onto the floor. Now from this position, we're going to inhale, and as we exhale, we're going to press low back into the mat, rotate around the rib cage, bringing opposite elbow to knee, lower pointed toe to the mat, lower head, neck, and shoulders, and cross over as you exhale. Inhale, lower, exhale, cross over. Good. Inhale, lower, exhale, cross over. So you want your back, your low back, to be connected with the mat throughout this entire range of movement. Your rotation is happening around the rib cage, focusing on cinching in the waistline as you bring elbow toward the knee. If you can't get your elbow to touch your knee, that's fine. Make sure that your elbows don't start to frame your face. You want to keep those elbows nice and wide. Head, neck, and shoulders are relaxed. Good. Breathe out to touch elbow and knee. Inhale and exhale. Focus on really picking the opposite shoulder up off the floor as you cross over. Good. We've got 6 and 5. Working those obliques. 4, 3, abs are in. 2, and final 1, and lower it down. Take your right knee in your right hand, left knee in your left hand, and just circle the knees in opposite directions, really massaging your low back on the mat. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Take your hands behind your knees, squeeze your legs together, and gently roll up to a seated position. Use your hands to help you if you need. We are going to change positions here and get into some glute work. So you have the option here of being in an all-fours position with your wrists directly below your shoulders and your knees directly below your hips. If you have weak areas in the wrist, you might want to come down onto your forearms. Make sure if you're on your forearms that your forearms are parallel and that your elbows are below your shoulders. I'm going to start from an all-fours position with my palms down on the mat, fingers are spread. We want to make sure that there's a gentle bend in the elbows here. We don't ever want to lock out the arms. Position of the knees should be right below the hips. Try to avoid any overarching in the spine here, and if that's starting to happen, just tuck your tailbone gently so that your spine is nice and long. You want your gaze on the floor here so your neck is in line with your spine. We're going to send the right leg out long behind, and then we're going to pick the right leg up. Now we want our hips to be perfectly square throughout the entire range of movement, so we don't want to open up to one side or lean heavily to one side. We want the leg to be at torso height, toe is pointed. Now we're gonna flex the foot, inhale, and exhale to point. Inhale, flex, exhale, point. So keep moving between these two positions as you breathe in and out. Focus on being really nice and stable and balanced across the shoulders, gently pushing the mat away from you. And then we really want to start focusing on the glutes and the hamstrings on this right side. So really flex through the foot and point hard through the toe. So you're lengthening through the heel, lengthening through the toe. Start building that mind-muscle connection, thinking about those glutes and hamstrings warming up. Nice work. Inhaling and exhaling. We've got 3. Keep the leg really elongated. 2. And last 1. We're going to lower the foot down to the mat for a moment. Pull the toes back by the shins if they're not already so that your foot is in a flexed position. Now we're going to come back up. Leg is at torso height, hips are square with the mat. And we're going to go into hamstring curls, pulling the heel toward the bum. So straighten the leg and bend, contracting the hamstrings, heel to bum. Straighten and bend. Inhale and exhale. Good work. So really keeping that neck nice and long. The shoulders are rolled back away from the ears. Gentle bend in those elbows. We've got 4, 3, 2. Keep that foot flexed, and 1. Now we're going to extend the leg. The foot should be flexed here, and we're just going to pulse up, little controlled pulses. Lift your belly toward your spine to protect the low back. Little controlled pulses up with that heel. We've got 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, squeeze the glutes, lower the knee, and push back into child's pose. Sink into your child's pose here. Stretch and lengthen through the spine. Take a breather in through the nose and out through the mouth. Inhale and exhale. Return to your all fours position, either on your forearms or on your palms. Same thing opposite side. So make sure you've got that nice stable base of support. Your knees are below your hips. You're sending that left leg out long now and elevating it to torso height. Hips are square with the mat. Flex and point. Good. Flex and point. So lengthening through the heel, then lengthening through the toe, and then really starting to focus on that mind-muscle connection, starting to feel those glutes working, starting to feel those hamstrings warming up. Be sure not to sort of slump between your shoulders, gently be pushing the mat away from you so that you're nice and broad across the shoulders. Distributing your weight evenly between those supporting points, the knee that's down on the mat and both palms. Good. We've got 4, 3, 2, nice work, and 1. Lower your foot down to the mat, flex the foot, prepare for those hamstring curls. So lift the leg up, toes are pulled back toward the shin, heel to bum, extend. Heel to bum, extend. Good work. Plug your belly in toward your spine. Spine is nice and long. Shoulders are rolled back and relaxed. Gaze is down on the mat so your neck is in line with your spine. Really contract those hamstrings as you pull your heel towards your bum. Slow and controlled. Good. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Extend. Little pulses up. Little controlled pulses, not overarching the spine. Squeezing the glutes to get the lift. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. Lower the leg down. We're going to take the knees nice and wide and walk the hands out in front. This time sinking back into a puppy pose, so a variation of child's pose with your hips elevated. So you're really stretching out through that tailbone, lengthening through the spine. Relax your forehead down onto the mat for 3 and 2 and 1. We're going to move back into our all fours position here, and we're going to finish off with some upper body strengthening work. So we're going to go into some shin lifts here, but before we do so, we just really want to make sure that we have the correct position with the shoulders. So we're going to move between a couple of different positions here. So I'd like you to retract the shoulders, so kind of sink between the shoulder blades, letting the shoulder blades come together, and then protract the shoulders, pushing the mat away and broadening across the back. So retract the shoulders, sort of sink between them, and then protract, push the mat away, broadening across the shoulders. Inhale and exhale. Sink between those shoulder blades and push the mat away from you. Shoulder blades knit together and they separate as we push the mat away. Lower and protract for 2 and 1. Now we're going to just get the shoulders into a neutral position. So we're neither retracting nor protracting the shoulders. They're just nice and level, gently pushing the mat away so that they're somewhat broad, but not completely protracted. When you're in that nice stable position with the shoulders, I want you to curl your toes. Knees should be under your hips. We're going to inhale here, and as we exhale, we're going to hover the knees so that they are exactly, the shins are parallel with the mat. So we're holding here. Plug navel in towards your spine. Hold for 3, 2, gently push the mat away from you, and 1, lower down. Good. So you should feel that in your upper body, your arms, your core. We're going to come up again and hold for a little bit longer this time. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, float the knees up off the mat. Shins are parallel with the mat. Nice and broad across those shoulders. Weight is in the heel of the hands. Hold for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Amazing work. Now we're going to come up into that position again, and we're going to add some knee taps. So we're going to hold from our shin lift position and gently tap the knees down toward the mat 10 times. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to lift. Hold. Lower the knees. Lift. Lower. Lift. So only lift as high as they can get while maintaining the parallel of the shins to the mat. So not lifting up too high. You're only lifting up to the point where your shins are parallel with the floor. Abdominals are engaged. For 3, 2, and 1. Gently lower the knees. Now we're going to walk the hands out a little bit further in front. Fingers are spread. Last move here to work the backs of the arms. We are going to lower the elbows down to the floor so the forearms touch, and then lift. Lower and lift. Now I want you to keep your elbows and your forearms perfectly parallel here, and really focus on pushing up through the heels of your hands so that you're working the backs of the arms. Lower and lift. Tap the forearms and lift. Belly is in, spine is nice and long. Good. We've got 5 and 4. Breathe out to lift. 3, 2, and 1. Amazing work. Take those knees nice and wide. Walk your hands out a little bit further. Returning to your puppy pose. Hips are elevated. Breathe deeply in through the nose, filling the back of the rib cage. And slowly exhale through the mouth. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Slowly walk your hands towards your knees, coming into a kneeling position. Pick your shoulders up by your ears. Inhale, and exhale. Roll your shoulders down and back. Let's take 2 more. Inhale, and exhale. Roll back. Last one. Melting your shoulder blades down and back. I hope you enjoyed that beginner's workout, and I look forward to moving with you again next time.